When I was 65, I thought I had life all figured out. After all, I had decades of experiences behind me. I'd worked hard, raised a family, and weathered my share of storms. I believed I was entering a stage where life would slow down, where I'd simply enjoy the fruits of my labor and take each day as it came. But let me tell you, life has a funny way of surprising you. The years that followed weren't just about slowing down. They were about rediscovering what it means to truly live. And if I've learned anything over the past 15 years, it's this. Life after 65 is far from over. In fact, it can be one of the richest, most fulfilling times of your life, if you cultivate it well. You see, life after 65 isn't just about avoiding illness or making ends meet. It's about finding what brings you joy, meaning, and connection. It's about tending to the things that truly matter, much like a gardener carefully nurtures a beautiful garden. And just like any garden, the things you choose to focus on will either bloom into something wonderful or wither away if left untended. I want to share with you the 5 things I've learned to cultivate well in this stage of life. These 5 things have helped me not just to live longer, but to live better, with a sense of peace, gratitude, and purpose that I never fully appreciated in my younger years. I'm not here to preach or tell you how to live your life. I'm just an 80-year-old man sharing stories, moments when I got it right and moments when I didn't. I've seen friends and loved ones thrive because they nurtured these 5 things, and I've also seen others struggle because they didn't. So, take these lessons as you will. If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that these 5 things can make all the difference in how the rest of your journey unfolds. And believe me, those who embrace them are truly blessed. So, settle in, my friends, and let me tell you what I've learned. It's never too late to start, and the best days might just be ahead of you. I remember the day I turned 70. My knees had started to ache, and getting up from a chair took a bit more effort than I like to admit. I thought to myself, this is it. Time to slow down and take it easy. But then something happened that changed my perspective. A good friend of mine, Harry, who was in his 80s, invited me to join him on his daily walk. I hesitated at first. What difference could a short walk make? But Harry was spry, full of energy, and seemed years younger than his age, so I figured there must be something to it. That morning walk with Harry became the start of a habit that, quite honestly, saved my life. Staying active is about more than just keeping your body moving. It's about maintaining your independence and quality of life. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you need to run marathons or lift heavy weights. Simple activities can make a world of difference. A 15-minute walk around the neighborhood, some light stretching, or even gentle yoga can help you feel more flexible and energetic. I've found that movement doesn't just help the body, it lifts the spirit. On those walks, I noticed the world around me in a way I hadn't in years. The sound of birds, the warmth of the sun, and the simple joy of being outdoors. But it's not just your body that needs exercise, your mind does too. One thing I've learned is that the brain is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to be used or it weakens. A few years ago, I decided to revisit an old hobby, chess. I hadn't played since I was a young man, but I dusted off an old board and challenged myself to relearn the game. At first it was frustrating, but as I improved, I felt a spark of excitement that reminded me of my younger days. Whether it's reading, solving puzzles, or even learning a new skill, keeping your mind active keeps you sharp and engaged with life. The truth is, staying active, both physically and mentally, is like adding fuel to the fire of your life. It keeps you moving forward, keeps you curious, and, most importantly, reminds you that every day is a chance to grow. It's never too late to start, and even the smallest steps can lead to big changes. Let me tell you a story about a birthday I spent alone in my 60s. I had just retired, and life suddenly felt quieter than I was prepared for. My days were filled with routines, but something was missing. On that particular birthday, the phone didn't ring as much as I'd hoped, and for the first time, I realized how much I had let some relationships slip away. My work had always been my focus, and I'd told myself, I'll have more time for family and friends later. But later sneaks up on you. That night, sitting in a quiet house, I made a decision. I was going to reconnect with the people who mattered most to me. The next day, I picked up the phone and called my daughter. I apologized for not being as present as I should have been and told her how much I missed her. To my relief, she laughed and said, "Dad, it's never too late." From then on, we started making it a point to see each other regularly. Now, those moments, sharing meals, telling stories, and laughing with her and my grandchildren, are some of the happiest of my life. But it's not just family that makes life rich. Friends play an equally vital role. I'll never forget reconnecting with Joe, a buddy from my younger days. We had drifted apart as life got busy, but one day, I decided to look him up. I invited him for coffee, and we picked up right where we left off, swapping stories and laughing about old times. Those weekly coffee dates became something I looked forward to, a reminder of the value of shared history and companionship. And let's not forget the importance of making new connections. At 70, I joined a local book club. I was nervous at first. I thought I'd be the oldest one there, but I found people of all ages who shared a love for reading and meaningful conversations. Those new friendships reminded me that it's never too late to find connection and community. Relationships are like a lifeline. They bring joy, support, and purpose to life, no matter your age. So, pick up the phone, send a letter, or knock on a neighbor's door. The people around you are your greatest blessing, and it's never too late to let them know how much they mean to you. One of the most important lessons I've learned in my 80 years is that gratitude can change everything. It may sound simple, but the way you look at life has a profound impact on how you experience it. I didn't always understand this. In my younger years, I often focused on what I didn't have or what wasn't going right. But life has a way of teaching you, and as the years passed, I began to realize how much beauty and joy there is in the little things, if you take the time to notice them. I'll never forget one particular morning when I was around 70. I was sitting on my porch, feeling weighed down by all the things I thought I had lost. My youth, some of my old friends, and even the energy I used to take for granted. But as I sat there, I noticed the sun breaking through the clouds. The light hit the trees just right, and the birds were singing their morning songs. For a moment, everything felt still, and I thought to myself, I'm here, I'm alive, and this moment is enough. That small shift in perspective was the start of something that changed my life, a daily practice of gratitude. Each morning since then, I've made it a habit to list 3 things I'm thankful for. Some days it's big things, like my family's health or the laughter of my grandchildren. Other days it's small, something as simple as a hot cup of tea or a cool breeze on my face. But no matter what, taking the time to reflect on what's good in my life has filled my days with a sense of peace I never knew I needed. Gratitude is powerful because it shifts your focus. Instead of dwelling on what's wrong, you start to see what's right. And let me tell you, there is always something right, even on the hardest days. It doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but it does mean choosing to see the blessings alongside them. Positivity grows out of gratitude. I've met people in their 90s who are filled with joy, not because their lives are perfect, but because they have chosen to focus on the good. Gratitude opens the door to that kind of happiness. So, take a moment every day to say, thank you. It might seem small, but it's a habit that can transform your entire outlook on life. When I retired at 65, I felt like I'd reached the finish line. For years, my work had been my identity, my reason to get up every morning. But once it was gone, I started to feel a little lost, as though the ground beneath me had shifted. I thought retirement would feel like freedom, but instead, I found myself asking, now what? That question stayed with me for a while, and for a time, I drifted. It wasn't until I stumbled onto something unexpected that I realized how important it is to have a purpose, no matter your age. One day, my neighbor's fence blew over in a storm. She was a widow in her 70s, and she looked overwhelmed by the mess. I offered to help, and together we spent the afternoon fixing it up. At the end of the day, she smiled and said, "You've made my week." That simple moment of being useful sparked something in me. It reminded me how good it feels to help someone else, to contribute in some way. It wasn't just about fixing a fence, it was about finding a reason to be needed again. After that, I started volunteering at the local community center. At first, I thought I'd just do little odd jobs, but it quickly turned into so much more. I started teaching kids how to build birdhouses, something I'd done with my own children years ago. Watching their faces light up as they hammered in nails and painted their projects gave me a sense of fulfillment I hadn't felt in years. I realized that purpose doesn't have to be something grand. It just has to be something that brings you joy and allows you to make a difference, no matter how small. Purpose can take many forms. For some, it's learning a new skill or picking up a long-forgotten hobby. For others, it's mentoring, teaching, or even just being there for family and friends. When I was 75, I started gardening, something I'd never had time for before. Watching those tiny seeds grow into vibrant plants reminded me that life is always evolving, always growing, no matter the season. The truth is, purpose gives you a reason to wake up in the morning. It keeps your heart and mind engaged and fills your days with meaning. Whether big or small, find something that lights you up. It's never too late to discover what gives your life purpose. I'll never forget the day I had a mild heart attack at 68. It wasn't dramatic, no clutching my chest or collapsing like you see in the movies. It was a quiet warning, a reminder that my body needed better care than I had been giving it. Up until then, I thought I was doing fine. I ate what I wanted, skipped regular exercise, and figured that aging was just something that happened. That wake-up call changed everything. Sitting in the hospital bed, my doctor looked at me and said, "It's not about being perfect. It's about finding balance and making small, consistent choices that add up over time." Those words stuck with me. After that, I started paying more attention to my health. I didn't try to overhaul my life all at once. Those kinds of changes rarely stick. Instead, I began with small, manageable steps. I added more vegetables to my meals, cut back on sugar, and started drinking more water. I didn't deprive myself of the foods I loved, but I learned moderation. I'd still enjoy a slice of cake at a family birthday party, but I balanced it with healthier choices the rest of the week. Slowly but surely, these little adjustments started making a difference. I felt lighter, more energetic, and, most importantly, in control of my health. Exercise also became a part of my routine. Now, don't think I'm out there running marathons or lifting heavy weights. I'm not. But I do make sure to move every day. Whether it's a 20-minute walk, a few stretches in the morning, or even some light gardening, staying active keeps my body from stiffening up and my mind from growing stagnant. Movement is medicine, as they say, and I've found that to be absolutely true. Taking care of your mental health is just as important. There were times when loneliness crept in, especially after losing friends or family. I learned that it's okay to ask for help, whether that means talking to a friend, joining a social group, or even trying something new like meditation. Quieting my mind and focusing on the present helped me find peace. Caring for your health doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's about listening to your body, making small changes, and being kind to yourself. A healthy life isn't about perfection, it's about balance. And when you care for yourself, you're better able to enjoy all the blessings life has to offer. As I sit here reflecting on all these years, I realize how much life has taught me, lessons that I wish I had learned sooner, but that I'm grateful to share with you now. Life after 65 is not just about living. It's about thriving, growing, and truly appreciating the time we have left. Whether it's staying active, nurturing relationships, embracing gratitude, finding purpose, or taking care of your health. These are the seeds that, when cultivated, can create a life full of meaning, joy, and peace. You see, life doesn't end at retirement or when the wrinkles show up. In many ways, it's just beginning. The golden years are called that for a reason. They hold treasures that you can't find in youth. These years offer a chance to slow down and savor what really matters, to reconnect with yourself and others, and to live in a way that feels deeply fulfilling. But none of it happens by accident. It takes effort, intention, and a willingness to embrace each day as a gift. I encourage you to take these tips to heart and reflect on how you can incorporate them into your own life. Start small. Maybe tomorrow you'll take a short walk, call an old friend, or write down 3 things you're grateful for. Each small step brings you closer to a life that feels full and blessed. Remember, it's never too late to start living well. Now, before we part ways today, let me leave you with one final piece of advice. Never stop learning. This world is full of knowledge, wisdom, and inspiration, and there's so much to explore, no matter your age. That's why I invite you to join us here at Elderly Hacks. We're a community that believes in empowering each other to live our best lives, sharing practical tips, heartfelt stories, and strategies to make aging a journey worth celebrating. So, if you've enjoyed this video or found any of these insights helpful, hit that subscribe button and become part of the Elderly Hacks family. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. We're here to support you every step of the way with advice, inspiration, and tools to make the most of your golden years. Let's walk this journey together, because the best is yet to come. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.